your Purium brand partner, and then I'm going to let you guys, I'm going to let Amy ask a question.
Okay, should we just go?
Okay, start with Justin.
Okay.
Together.
For the gram.
Start with me.
So if there were two things that you thought were most important to helping your Purium business grow within your family, what role would you say you play in that?
I'm gonna say, like, this is kind of a broad answer, but then I'll dial it back in. My wife gets a lot of people like coming to her space, like into her space. So my probably most important job is protecting her energy.
Ooh.
That's probably the best thing. What I mean by that is she loves this business so much and she works so hard on it. Clearly, like Doug, Sonia, they all do. And for me, it's like I have to make sure that she doesn't have to think about anything other than helping people, because that's her biggest passion.
Wow, I love it. So if the phone's ringing incessantly, if there's like, do you?
Well,
you
like no, she can't have clutter around because she's laser focused. So everything's got to be clean, put away, laundry done, the shopping. It sounds like mundane, but it helps her stay in her zone. And I don't want her out of her zone.
Until I do those little things, straightening up, and then I can work so hard.
Right, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. So like it starts by, like I set the tone for her. I get out of bed before she does. And as soon as she gets out of bed, she's already has her hot cacao done. The candles are lit. The music is on the TV, or it's Eddie Pinero. That's what she loves to listen to. And as soon as she goes and has her little magic journaling time, I go make sure the bed is made and everything's perfect set up for her day. I know who her first call is from, like, literally, and depends on what we're doing that day. So I have to know what her calendar is. She doesn't even look at her calendar. I tell her who her first call is. It's intense. So, and then and I also have to be very good about, because like, let's go. And as a man, like it's like a different role, because you know, like you talked to me today about electrical. We worked in construction. I was in management, like things. So the tone of one's voice can also affect the way things are done. So sometimes, like, her tone can be abrasive to me, but it's just because she's got so many things on her mind. I can't be offended. I can't be sensitive or offended by that tone, because it's for the good of us and the good of everybody.
You ever been on a construction site?
Yeah.
Got to talk over the cranes.
Yeah, and the cranes and everything else, and just there's in this business, it's different from that world, because I could go just twist wire nuts and be in my zone. But in this world, you're dealing with personalities, so they're also having to do being able to listen, how you communicate. So.
Wow, you're like. So the one thing I heard that I was really impressed with is he says that he knows, like, he's got her call list, and he knows who hasn't placed their backup order this month, and he gives her a list. Oh, do you think their credit card expired? Do you think that they're out of town? Why don't you give them a call and find out, like, why they didn't place their backup order? So to me, that was enough. All this rest of the stuff, wow. Congratulations. That's a hard follow, Doug. Do you skateboard?
Not like Doug. Not like Doug.
Candles.
Magic journaling.
You can make stuff up at this point.
Well, everything I know from Doug.
I am gonna say that jealousy is the root of a lot of problems, and as a husband, you can be jealous of their time that they spend doing other things. And really, like Justin said, she's doing this for our family. She's doing this to help others. And kind of along those lines, I would just say that if there's spouses here and they don't know why the wife or husband who's taking the lead in Purium hasn't shared with them their why they're doing this, then they're missing out on the bigger picture. Because of course the why kind of develops over time and it changes, and initially it was for our family. Sonia wanted to do this to help pay for care for her mother who was living with us. We were thinking we were gonna need 24-hour care at some point. And so how could I not support her? And so the time that a husband allows them to work and do this business
Apart.
Apart or together. There's many times where Sonia will ask me, can you drive? I've got an appointment somewhere. And we'll be in the car, and I know you two know this, it's three-way calls the whole way. We know a lot about this business from hearing all the three-way calls.
We can't even turn on the radio.
And so,
I need the game's on. No, it's not.
It's not on, babe.
it's quite an education, but because of that, we know so much about the inside of the business. Sonia's asked me, she's like, I want you to be my business coach. So I'll go through the back office, I'll look at structure, I'll look at who's missing what, and we'll talk about, business planning for the next week on a regular basis. So, that's a big help. It really is. I see that it's like a teamwork behind the scenes, and a lot of people here don't know who I am, other than my wife's Instagram probably. But I'm okay with that. Okay,
Well, build on that with Doug too. Like an important thing is because they're like Sonia, Michelle, Melissa, they're on calls. They don't have time to see where their structure is for something because a lot of these are new diamonds here. They're here, so they don't understand sometimes the structure that they need. Like, oh, I got 15,000 in volume, but they haven't hit diamond yet because they need 3 consultants. So another thing Doug and Sam and I do, we go through the back office and we know who you are. Even I know by name because I see the back office more than even the face. And I'll be like, hey babe, they have 2 consultants, but they're smart or they have 3 consultants. They have a diamond because their smart order is not at 100 BV because you need that 100
So
BV
then she
for
needs to go
diamonds. So
go and
then she
cook.
needs to call whoever that is and be like, oh, we need to bump your smart order up to 100. Once you hit diamond to crown, it needs to be at 100. Diamond before, it's 50 BV. Crown and above, it's 200 BV. You need to make sure you have the active enroll. Though I have 15,000, I have 3 consultants, but I only have 2 active enroll. Now you need 6 active enroll.
Sign him up.
And I can tell you, and then people will be like, Melissa will say to me, hey, so and so, do you know what the structure is going to be from green to blue? And I know it right off the top of my head. What's the lifestyle bonus? It's from diamond to green diamond. It's going to be 300 to 600. And you're going to get 2 pair shares of the pool.
2 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Mama needs a new pair of shoes.
Yes, she does.
But Justin, why? Why do you know all
Far
this?
from these.
So basically, same. They stole all the thunder, especially Justin was like, drop the mic.
I know. Come on, leave something.
But it really is, for any of you spouses that your mate is doing the business, it's really about support and not having that jealousy, because any minute you're investing or they're investing, you're as a group investing in your Purium business is investing in your future, because there's residual income. Amen. There's so many different components here. So you cannot be jealous of it all. You want to support it, you want to build it, you want to help it, because whatever you're involved in doesn't have that component. You're trading dollars for hours, no doubt. I mean, we have a family construction business. My boys and I, we own it, but it's like, I'm just pulling away because hey, I'm 110% in with you, honey. This is what we're gonna do. It allows us to travel, it allows us to go places. So you have to have that mindset that this is the future. How can I help my mate build this business? And it's like these guys already touched on. I grew up in a family where my mom did everything for us. And as we got married, I mean, I never lived on my own. I just transitioned into marriage. And so Michelle took care of a lot of things. I never even gave it a second thought. Now it's like, oh, let me do the dishes. Let me wash the clothes. Let me vacuum. Let all these things that Justin was talking. The cacao in the morning. She loves the chocolate cacao. I can't top him. I'm not doing foot massages and candles. But whatever it takes that helps your partner, because everyone everyone ticks a little bit different. You want to do that, and you want to understand this back office, this business, because like on the way here to Diamond Club on Thursday, we are game planning a couple of fast start executives on our team of what they need for the end of the month. We're talking it out. She's messaging. And for me personally, even though I have a bunch of phone calls I need to make, hers are more important. So I'm like, yeah, mine can wait. So it's prioritizing your mate that this is the way to go because it is the way of the future, and you'll be super successful.
When was the last time you hit your
I'm sorry?
When was the last time you hit your thumb with a hammer, though?
Well, that was never because I'm an electrician like Justin.
I was gonna say too, because like we live in a society, like for the most part it's always been like, oh, the man is the one that takes the lead. They're the one that's the breadwinner,
Yeah.
and that this business completely flips that upside down. Because I mean, like growing up, I always thought that like, my whole world was I was gonna be an electrician from the time I was 16, and I can even remember the beginning where I was like, well, but it evolved into something. So it's a lot of ego that's involved with that mentality, and to see like women like crushing it, it's like an amazing thing to see in this society. Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys, and I'll start with Sam this time. So, and this is kind of perspective for the women. Did Michelle invite you into the business, or did you have to insert yourself into the business? How did it go? So, and the reason I'm asking this is because I think sometimes as women, we have a hard time asking for help and support. I don't know if anybody feels me on that, but
So it was a little bit organic from the standpoint of when she started the business, we were on lockdown. So we're all stuck in the same house, right? And we were living with her parents, taking care of them. So like, it's a little stir crazy. Like, where do I go? Our parents are over here. She's up in the loft on Zoom meetings, like corporate Zooms and team meetings. And so I'm like sitting on the stairs, like listening in the background because I'm always inquisitive, right? I want to know what's going on. And so I'm hearing what she's involved in, and I'm thinking at first I'm like, oh, this is too good to be true. You know, there's so many gimmicks out there and scams and all this other stuff. But it was like, okay, it's the real deal. Like, she's getting a regular paycheck like every Friday. She started getting bonuses, you know, by the 15th or before. So then I'm like trying to help her a little bit, but she's got kind of her own business. But then finally we just had this discussion of like, hey, if you really want to help me and you think this could be something, then you need to step it up. Like, you need to be prospecting. You need to know the products. You need to, you know, help me in the back. You need to like help me with this stuff. You know, if I'm gonna work this business successfully. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm game. Let's do this and let's see where it goes. And I'm so happy we did because I mean her business took off during COVID and it's been amazing. It's been a continual amazing thing. I mean, last year, not to sound all, but we were out of country like at least a couple months because of our daughter lives out of country and visiting other places. We work our business, 12-hour time difference, 9-hour time difference, up at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. But it's worth it because we can do what we want. And I know others do the same thing. I'm not trying to sound all uppity about it, but it's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate that we are able to work it together.
Awesome. So, but I love that they had a conversation. Like, it sounds like you made the space and like you said, hey, I need some help. Come support me in areas. And so I'm offering, if you have someone in your life, like have that conversation. Don't be afraid to ask for that support. I know Doug was around setting up the sound system, and Doug was always doing the behind-the-scene work. When and how did you more deeply lean into just kind of being the helper to really being a business strategist with Sonia?
Well, we'd been involved in other businesses, and real estate was a big business for us, actually. And so we were always kind of teaming up on anything we were involved in. But when she started with the Purium business, I was reluctant only because of our limited amount of time. So when I started seeing a few checks come in, I was already sold on the products, but when I saw a few checks coming in and I understood the residual income part of it, because we had rental properties, I was like, oh, this could be a transition. And so that's when I kind of started thinking, okay, there's things I can do here. And she wanted to do events, and then I found out how expensive it was to rent hotel rooms and rent the audio equipment and stuff like that. I was like, well, I'll just buy all the audio equipment and we'll hold our own events. And so we started doing some of that kind of thing. And then as the business grew and we were able to attend a few Purium events, which is why I think it's fantastic the husbands come to any of the Purium events. They see it's a real business. You can build a company around this of your own. And, you know, then there was no reason not to be all in. And, you know, she lets me know what she needs. Like, you know, she's not shy about telling me, we're doing an event, you know, here's the agenda, this is what I need, you know, and so I'm good with that. That's fantastic.
Clear communication, I call it.
Yeah, clear. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, last question here for you, and then if anybody, Justin, and then if anybody else wants to jump in. I think all of you've come from a construction world, and you're from a real estate world. Just the juxtaposed position from, like you said, you thought you were going to be twisting nuts.
Wire nuts.
Yeah. I mean, and just I guess the maybe opening your mind.
It's a little traumatic
to
going back there. But well, yeah, like I said, like I make this joke that I traded in my tool belt for an apron. And the thing that I love the most probably about this business, and like I don't think it's touched on, even people were asking earlier about the network marketing question, is network marketing builds more millionaires than any other business. And the beauty of that is, when I think about my electrical business, for one, I had a contract with Marriott Hotels. So I would have to go, there'd be, and the way Marriott's work, they're a franchise, so these owners own like 10 of them. And then once we got in with that owner, they owned one in Texas, they owned one in California, so I would have to drive, because you have to, into all these places, and I'd be gone, or long hours. There's the one in Palm Springs where I was like envious of his life. And so, but then I would also have to have all of this material. I'd have to know how much to order. I would have to have it in stock. I would have to have insurance. I would have to make sure my licenses were good. I would have to rely on so many things. And this business is like literally a business in a box, because Dave and Amy are doing the manufacturing, as you guys all see today. Look at that beautiful box that comes on the first when you put your smart order in. A transformation box gets delivered right to your home. You don't have to have that a ton of inventory. It's like, imagine if you had to have all that. You would have to have so much startup money, and all they're asking in this business is that you have a monthly smart order. That's the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered that question.
Yeah. That was a great answer.
But just your mind, like last thing, and then we're gonna do an exercise, and then we're gonna take a photo, and we're gonna get you back to the hotel for our evening meal and dinner. But did your minds open? Was there, like, it sounds like, because you each touched on it a little bit, but I mean, was there a point where your minds really opened to the possibilities that this business could have, and then like your maybe dreams or things that you had talked about as couples, like began to come to fruition with this, and maybe things that you didn't even think were possible?
I mean, obviously, like for me to like see like everyone has, like, if you see someone do it, it's like the Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile I always use. Once people do it, that wasn't broken in over 14 years. His time wasn't broken over 14 years, but then once he broke through the 4-minute mile, his time was beat 46 days later. Mm-hmm. So when I saw, Doug and Sonia were doing it, I saw Doug's life. He was in my pool that I couldn't enjoy, drinking a beer, skimming it for me, and I was exhausted. So I saw that it was possible. So then, obviously, that was like if they did it, why can't it be us? Like, if Melissa did it. If Nicole can hit crown in 4 months, why can't someone do it in 3? Like so, once someone does something, it's like there's a path, there's a place to follow. And here's the thing about Purium, they teach you step by step on how to do it, and all you got to do is follow the systems that are in place. I mean, they're not reinventing the wheel. Like, these girls know exactly the action steps that you need to take to get there.
Awesome.
And going along with that, I know like Michelle and I have had a lot of different goals in life and want to be able to accomplish them. I mean, our kids are grown. We had goals before that, but then we had kids. But most jobs, you're just married to it, like Justin was talking about. It's a certain amount of hours. It's you have to have material insurance. There's all these things. This business is so simple, but it allows you to accomplish goals for maybe volunteer work you want to do, or to be in another country. Like I mentioned, our daughter lives in France. We would love to live there at least a couple months out of the year type of thing. We can work this business what time we want to work it, where we want to work it, who we want to work it with. But the thing about it is, like, even when we're in France, we're prospecting people because there's European Purium, right? Platinum Health. So wherever you are, you can work this business, and that's the beautiful part of it. You're in control. How many of us can say that? Because even if you own your own business, say as a contractor, I think I'm in control, but all my customers are in control. Because like, well, you got to be here this day, and this job's got to be done. And we're in control. We do what we want to do. We work as hard or as little, but of course, your business is going to be as good or as bad as how much effort you put into it. But it gives us all the control, and Dave and Amy, as our partners, have done all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Our investment, like Justin said, is in our own products each month, but that's also an investment in our own health. So it's a win-win across the board.
And I want to say another thing about, like, because Sam and I were talking about this weekend. In our business, like, one of the hardest parts is not doing the job, it's getting paid. And since I've been in this business, I've never not had my paycheck on a Friday. Thank you. And, that's like unheard of. Like, Sam and me were having like horror stories about trying to hunt people down, and we had to chop it up to a loss. And that's never happened here.
Okay, I'm gonna add
Yes,
something.
absolutely.
Location freedom, and they
Yes.
both kind of touched on it. So we were making really good money in real estate. We still could be if we wanted to, but we were locked into 7 days a week in that business. We owned a little commercial building where our office was, and I thought, we're gonna just be here till the day we die. Like, how do you unwind that? You can't get out of that very easily. And, I remember we'd come out of our morning worship on a Sunday morning. We'd only been out of phone reach for a couple of hours, and the office phone was forwarded to Sonia's cell phone. We'd listen to messages driving home, and I'd hear that you have 17 missed calls as we're driving home, and I'm thinking, okay, the whole day is going to be, there's going to be no relaxation today because every call would be one after the other. We're sitting in front of one of your listings, and clients are only in town for 2 days. We'd really love to see this happen. And it's the same thing over and over again. So I knew we were going to make a transition at some point, though, because we had a rental property kind of around the block from the office, and one day Sonia comes in and she goes, "You gotta go show, somebody wants to see the house on such and such a street." So I hated doing that, but even though it was our own rental, I hated showing them. But I went over, I showed it, I came back, and Sonia says to me, "So do they want to do a transformation?" And I'm like, I went to show a property for rent, and you're asking me if they want to do a transformation. And I knew, like, her brain had completely shifted. We were not in real estate anymore. That was it. So
You're in a different neighborhood.
yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
anyway,
Oh,
turned
that's
out great.
hilarious. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you so much.
And this is not an exclusive club. The 3 of us are here, and our 3 wives are right there. But we would love for this to be
We want it to grow.
100 of us up
Yes.
there, and 100 wives.
Mop heads.
Bring it on.
Come join us. Daryl, I see you.